Before we get into today's episode, I want to let you guys know that our merch has officially dropped on our website. Be sure to check out our website. It's preypursuit.com. And you can also find that link in our bio on our Instagram. So be sure to check it out and also stay tuned with the Instagram because there is a giveaway going on right now for the next couple weeks that one of you lucky listeners will get a fly rod and a couple flies to get your setup started. So be sure to check out the Instagram to get signed up for that giveaway and enjoy the listen. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Prey Pursuit. Today we are joined by Noel once again as our co-host, and this time we have a special guest. This is Aaron. Aaron is actually not just a friend of ours, but he's also my brother-in-law. So that's pretty cool. How's it going, Aaron?
Going good. How are you?
Good, good. How about you, Noel?
I'm good. I'm good. Everyone's good.
Awesome. Okay, so we'll get into it pretty quick and easy here. I don't know if Aaron has much time with us today, so let's just dive on in.
What he's hinting at there is I have a 4-month-old downstairs, so
Yeah, and that also with that, if you gotta leave early or anything, just let us know. That's
no,
totally fine.
no, we're good. She's taking a nap, so I got
Oh,
time.
nice.
Oh, perfect. Um, so Aaron, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what got you into hunting and fishing. Um, yeah, just we'll start there.
Yeah, so I'm from Wisconsin, Green Bay area. Pretty much been hunting and fishing my whole life. Like most of us kind of got into it through family. So my dad was a big hunter and fisherman. I'd say more fishing than anything, but did some upland bird hunting, pheasants out in South Dakota quite often, deer hunting around Wisconsin. But yeah, did a lot of fishing. And that kind of came from my grandpa too. I remember fishing with him back in the day on the Bay, Green Bay. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. And yeah, actually,
Sweet.
I was just out in Montana with Brad and doing some fishing out there. Maybe we'll talk about that a bit later.
Yeah, yeah, that was a great time. Um,
Yeah.
so do you remember like a certain age or just the whole time growing up since you started?
Yeah, I guess earliest memory would be like hunter safety class. I don't know if you guys remember your first hunter safety class, but that was a good time. Like one weekend, yeah, it's like 2 different days. Go learn all that fun stuff, go through the manual and whatnot. I remember drawing like little doodles on the whole thing, so I wasn't really paying attention. But yeah, our safety class. I remember the first time I ever went hunting was probably with my dad. He was hunting turkeys. I was too young yet. And I just remember how loud the shotgun blast was when he shot one. It was pretty cool. And then I remember I was so small I couldn't even carry the bird back because obviously he wanted to make me carry it just, I don't know, to razz me up or whatever. But I remember I had to walk back to the shed, get the four-wheeler, bring it back out because I couldn't hold it up over my shoulder as that small. So yeah, that was probably my earliest hunting memory.
That's awesome. Being too small to be able to hold up the bird. That's awesome for sure.
They are heavier than they look. I will say that.
Oh yeah, I
That's
don't
a heavy
doubt that.
bird. Yeah.
Um, all right, so what got you into you tie flies? You have a company. I've said this on
hmm
past podcasts, and we are actually doing a giveaway right now together. Um, with Aaron's Custom Flying. So check out his website and his Instagram, all the socials. Um, TikTok too. You've been running those up lately.
Yeah, I've been trying.
Yeah, I like it. But what got you into tying flies specifically?
Yeah, so I guess like I said, did a lot of fishing growing up, and I was always kind of like a naturally curious kid, like in the wood shop and down the shed, like just messing around with things, make my own stuff. So I remember one day, well, I sort of got more into fishing more towards when I got my license. Obviously you have more access with the car, right? I remember I was at Fleet Farm one day, just like buying a bunch of fishing lures I probably would never use, right? And I saw like a fly tying kit, like just a very basic, like maybe $30 kit it was, so super cheap vise and tying tools and some materials. I was like, well, why not grab that? So I just randomly bought it, brought it home, started cranking out some really terrible looking flies, and it's just kind of fun to like mess around and learn a new craft. And from there, it kind of snowballed into using those to catch fish, which is like the coolest thing ever. Like once I did that, I don't think I bought anything like store-bought fishing lures for a while. Just kind of you just kind of get hooked on catching something that you made by yourself, which is just a cool feeling. Um, yeah, and from that, I think I just like made a Facebook page on a whim, like not really even thinking I'd sell anything because, like I said, they kind of look bad from the beginning. Not really refined yet. But yeah, just started. I think I got a couple customers within the first few months, which is kind of random. I just posted on random fishing pages, and from there it just kind of grew. It kind of grew more than I ever expected would have, but I really didn't have any expectations when it started. So yeah, that's kind of the origin story of it, and yeah, it's pretty cool now. I got a website and e-commerce all set up, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and that was back in 2018, right?
2018, yep.
Yeah, nice. Nice. Very cool.
Do you remember what kind
Um,
of fly you tied first?
Oh, so the kit had like a book with a bunch of materials to make certain flies. Um, I want to say it was like a zebra midge, which is like a very, very basic pattern. It's just basically a bead on a hook with black thread and silver wire. So it's a very simple fly,
Yeah,
but you'd be surprised how simple a fly like you can really mess up and make look bad until you really understand what you're doing on the device. But that just comes with time. So
yeah.
yeah, I feel like at this point, I did it total one time, but it's been I think I counted well over 5,000 flies like that I've just sold through my website.
wow.
I can kind of keep track of totals like that. So yeah, lots of time at the device since 2018, and yeah, just come up with new patterns and things like that. But yeah, the first ones weren't pretty. I think I'm a pretty decent tire now. Yeah.
That's super cool.
Do you remember what your first catch was off your own fly?
I think it was like a really, really tiny largemouth bass at the local um, city pond. Like when I say small, like size of my finger small. But yeah, yeah.
Oh
And
yeah.
so like from the start, so like fly tying and like fly fishing is kind of like separate from fishing as a whole. It's kind of like a firm divide. Like some think they're more pretentious, whatever. But I kind of from the start, I sort of started tying for like conventional angling, which is always a weird line to toe because people think, oh, you're tying things, they must be flies. So for fly fishing, like, no, I'm tying for conventional fishing. So like you can throw it on conventional gear. So it's kind of an interesting thing, kind of trying to explain to customers like what they're used for. Really, they're not flies. You don't need a fly rod. You can throw them in your normal stuff, and that's what I was designing them for. So and then it really got into the ice fishing stuff too. So that kind of opened up a lot of things because ice flies are super popular around
Oh
here.
yeah.
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 Did you have to add
Nice,
like
nice.
extra weight to the flies for throwing them on conventional setups, or were they just heavy enough to throw?
Yeah, so I sort of designed them from ground up. So I found bear hooks that I wanted to use in the certain sizes, and then beads that would fit on them. So then I think, yeah, so I use 4.6 millimeter for ice flies and 5.5 for, call them open water
Yeah.
flies, sort of, so people know, like, yeah, open water casting,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So yeah, it's plenty heavy. It's around 1/16 of an ounce that I can get them up to. So yeah, they cast pretty
Oh,
good.
nice.
Yeah, it just comes down to like design of it. So kind of finding materials and doing prototypes is kind of a fun process for me and come with new things. So and there's been a couple products that like definitely stand out. It's like wow, like I just thought of that randomly. It's just like this is a cool thing. Like my leech jigs is probably my number one bestseller. You sell a ton of those. It's a very simple thing, and yeah, I don't know. It's just cool to come up with something and you sell it to someone, and then they send you a picture back of them using it on a lake, whatever state they're in, catching fish. Like it's
Oh
just a
yeah,
cool
that's the
thing.
best feeling.
Yeah.
How many customers are all your customers from Wisconsin, or are they more so out of state?
I'd say I'd say Midwest mainly. Wisconsin maybe I don't know 20% maybe. Like it's not
Oh wow.
super high, but yeah, a lot of Midwest states. So Michigan, Minnesota, Illinois, Iowa, a lot. But then yeah, I've sent a couple packages out to Colorado, Montana area,
Nice.
and some random ones to Canada. But I had to pay a lot in shipping for those, so I
Yeah,
kind of don't want to do that again. But
fair
that
enough.
I didn't have that set up on my website when I did it, and it's like, whoa, $15 to ship. I'm not prepared for that, but yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of all over the place.
Nice. That's very cool. Um, so for fishing for yourself, you do a lot of Wisconsin fishing. What's your favorite type of fish to go for in Wisconsin?
Easy, that's smallmouth bass. There's just nothing like it. And where I fish them usually is in a river, which makes it even more fun. Because they just fight so hard and they take you downstream, and yeah, it's a good time.
Would you prefer that on a fly rod?
Yeah, so I got into fly fishing here probably back in the day, so maybe at least 10 years ago now I got into fly fishing. Honestly, just because it's something different to do, and an excuse to buy more gear. So yeah, and the fly, they're a lot of fun, and yeah, like I said, we do them in the rivers, and got a couple floats that we do. And it's a lot of fun.
Do you
Nice.
tie flies with barbs or with barbless or both?
I usually do barbs. I have some trout flies I tie in
Hmm.
barbless. Um, yeah, I usually keep with the barbs for
Hmm.
smallies, because they just shake their head like
Definitely
crazy,
for
and it just
smallies, yeah.
helps. Yeah, and they're tough fish too, so I really had no issue with
Yeah.
it. Yeah, pinch the barb too if it's a barbless waters, but we really don't have those around here,
Yeah,
so
that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's not a worrisome in that area.
Don't think so.
Hmm.
No, no.
Mm.
I mean, yeah, I never really knew when I was younger fishing out there, but it was a big deal once I moved out here.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I will say though, barbless is nice if you ever get one in your leg or in your arm, so that's a
That's for
plus
sure.
there.
yeah,
Don't ask me
definitely.
how I know.
Yeah. Yeah, that all comes with it though, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's part of the quote unquote fun.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. Do you do much fishing outside of Wisconsin?
Not really, except for just coming out to Montana and teach you how to catch a trout out there, or
Yeah.
learning myself as well. So yeah, for the podcast that don't know, I was just out in Montana on like a family trip with Brad, and yeah, we caught some trout. And would you say it was your first one since you've been there? And you've been there for 4 years, right?
Yep, yep, first trout
Yeah.
and
Not to expose you or anything,
no,
but
no, it's okay.
yeah,
Fishing is not my thing, but I'm trying to get into it through this. So
yeah,
thanks
yeah,
for the help and
yeah.
thanks
You
for
bet.
lending me a rod too, by the way. So now I'm gonna be
Yeah,
able to go out some more often. That'll be
there we
fun.
go.
But
Yeah,
yeah, I gotta show Noel that spot too, and hopefully we can have some
yeah,
more luck there. Yeah,
yeah. It's a cool little spot we found there. Yeah.
definitely. Um, I'm definitely gonna have to check out your website too and purchase some more flies so I'm more equipped out here.
Yeah. Noel, are you a fisherman out there?
Yeah, I got into fly fishing probably a little bit like the first summer that I was here, and it's super fun to do. I just haven't caught anything yet. I've got a bunch of
Oh yeah.
bites, but nothing has stuck yet. But
Okay.
I'm excited
Okay.
to go to that spot that you guys found. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it's
it
pretty
sounds
good.
exciting.
Yeah, the first time we went to that spot is just yeah, up the trail. I caught one immediately, first
Oh yeah,
cast, and then I think I took the flies off as like crouching
yeah.
down and kind of like threw the flies back in the water, releasing it, and immediately something else bit it. Like I wasn't even fishing
No
it,
way.
right? Um, yeah, but we caught like I think it was it like seven that one time we went
Wow.
up with the whole fam. Like everyone kind of like caught
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
But then we went the next day and it wasn't quite as good.
Yeah.
So I don't know what we what we missed out on the second time. But yeah, I mean, we still caught fish up
Yeah.
there. But yeah,
Oh, I've had not
Yeah.
too much luck. Sorry. But I was
Oh,
out
you're good.
on a fishing trip. We actually went camping up to this river and we thought it was a super great spot and then we got a couple bites in the morning, but nothing stuck. And then my one friend caught, I swear it was the same fish 3 times on 3 different things.
I
It was
really
wild. Yeah, this one really hungry rainbow trout just kept biting. It was yeah.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah, but that's like the most we've got in Montana so far. Yeah.
sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely like a different thing, the trout game, coming from mainly bass fishing is what I
Yeah,
do here in the
yeah,
summers. And I mean, it's smallmouth bass are what you've heard about them. They're very aggressive. They eat anything. Like you
yeah,
can throw whatever in the water. They're probably gonna eat it. I'd say most times. There's been sometimes I've been out there where like my cousin in the boat's been catching like crazy and I don't catch a single
yeah,
thing. But yeah, a lot of times they're just super aggressive and they'll just eat anything, which makes them super fun.
yeah,
But yeah, trout fishing can definitely, from what I understand, I haven't done much of it, but can get pretty technical
yeah.
and yeah, you can go definitely go in like the rabbit hole of like certain hatches and certain
Right.
insects and
Yeah.
matching all that. But
There's like
yeah,
different seasons here. You can do like there's like seasons of underwater stuff and more dry stuff and I know there's like a whole season, especially out in Yellowstone, of I think it's the salmon flies. And yeah,
yeah,
I missed that last season. I want to hit that hard this season. But
yeah,
it's exciting. It's definitely a different game. I came from a lot of just largemouth fishing in Washington, and
sure,
they're pretty tricky there too. You just kind of gotta go deep with them, but it's
sure,
fun out
yeah,
here.
sure, yeah,
I'm looking forward to next time you can take some more time away and get out here for just a fishing trip priority.
for sure, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
find some better spots in that little creek we were going down, but it
yeah,
worked.
yeah.
So
It worked, yeah. I
yeah.
mean, we were there during runoff too, because I remember I was texting you like the week before, and I was just watching the river charts where you can like check the discharge and the gauge heights, and it's just like going up with the runoff and going up, and it looks like it peaked and then went up again. Like it's not gonna be great, but maybe we could find something. So yeah, it's good we could find a little creek that was kind of unaffected by the main runoff out of the valley
Oh, that's
there.
great.
Yeah, definitely. And so close to where you guys are staying too. It was
Yeah,
worked
that
out
worked out really
perfectly.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So what do you have any records in your head for past fish you've caught? Doesn't matter what it
like
was. Just it could be
biggest ones
smallie.
I've caught.
Yeah, smallie, trout, northern, walleye, whatever you've
Yeah.
fished before.
Northern, I caught a couple of 40 inchers up in Canada, which is like trophy northern
Or-
size, and that's a lot of fun. Um, Largemouth bass, probably, I forgot how big that one was, but it's like a spawning female, probably only like, I think it's maybe 4 pounds, so nothing like gigantic, but that's also like a northern strain largemouth. They don't grow like they do in the south up here in Wisconsin. Um, what else? That's kind of it for big, I mean, smallmouth. I never really bring a tape measure with me on the river, so I don't know how big those ever were. Probably another 4 pounder. I don't think I ever got one that was 20 inches or so. That's usually like the mark for a big small is a 20 incher. It's kind of weird. Like it, in the bass world, it seems like largemouth. It seems like if you're a conventional angler, you measure like a big bass by weights, but if you're a fly angler, you do it by length, which is a weird thing. Anyways. Yeah, I really don't ever measure many of my fish. I just kind of take a good picture of it and let it go again.
Yeah. And I know we had a good conversation last week that you're fishing just for the fun of it, not really trophy fishing or looking for the biggest fish. You're
Yeah,
just happy to be out there and catch something, especially when
yeah,
you're
that's right.
building your own
It's
flies
like
too.
there's like layers to it. It's like first when you get into, I've heard this from someone else. This isn't my idea, but it's like when you first get into fishing, it's like I just want to catch a fish. Just like get out there and catch something. It doesn't matter what it is. And then you go to you want to catch a lot of fish. And then you go to I want to catch a big fish, and then it's like you want to catch a big fish a certain way. So it just kind of like progresses into wherever your I guess angling journey takes you. And I'd say it depends for me now. I guess for like smallmouth on the fly, yeah, I kind of want to catch a big fish because I can catch them like crazy now, and we're in the spot that we go to. But coming out to Montana for trout is like, wow, I was excited to catch like the first little 5 incher in the creek in the backyard right away. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's just kind of different fish and different ways of catching them. It's like there's different, I guess, roads on that path. So
Yeah, I feel like it's
definitely.
I
exciting to like the feeling of tying something especially, and then it's so good that you can trick the fish into biting, and that's the way you catch it.
yeah,
That's a good feeling.
yeah. I feel like I keep talking about like the fly fishing thing, but I feel like that kind of parallels like what you guys do with archery, because it's definitely not the easiest way to kill an animal,
Right.
right?
It's the
Like it's definitely
challenge.
like a yeah, it's
Yeah.
a challenge, yeah. So even if let's say you shot a smaller buck with a bow rather than a bigger buck with a gun,
Hmm.
like that's got to feel way better with the bow,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
Yeah,
I don't know yet, but I'll find out, hopefully.
yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully, yeah,
Yeah, cross our fingers, but
yeah.
um yeah, I was just gonna say that it's like totally like hunting. Like
Mm-hmm.
with bear season, we were just talking. We have some buddies who are like, are looking for their target bear, looking for the biggest, baddest bear around, and we're just happy to see one on the way out, like we have been.
Exactly,
Like
yeah,
we
Yeah.
barely even saw them on public this year, but
Yeah.
that's all right. We still
yeah,
saw a handful of bear, more than what we would if we weren't hunting at
yeah,
all. So
yeah. There's also like the parallel there, like between the scouting thing. 'Cause I know that's a huge thing when what you guys do out west is like doing the scouting, like putting the time to find the
Hmm.
spots. Like, you spend way more time doing that than you probably do in the field because you just need to find the spots and where to go. Um, but like it's the same thing for fishing. Like the month before I came out to visit you in Montana, I was looking at Google Maps, dropping pins on like little access points or rivers because you can access the river nearly any bridge and like I said, checking the flows, make sure things were looking good. So it's kind of like the same thing, like fishing and kind of like parallels hunting. It's all like the prey pursuit, I
Yep.
guess.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's you know,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's kind of a cool
Hmm.
parallel there. And even
Definitely.
like when you get to the river, it's like reading the river. Like, oh, they could be holding in this deeper bend where the slacker water is,
Yeah.
and just kind of figuring those things out, which is I think is a big thing in like any hunting or fishing
Hmm.
thing is just like figuring out the game,
Yeah.
and it's almost like a
Yeah.
puzzle.
What I haven't figured out yet. I figured out where the fish usually sit, but then like especially if one comes up for a bite and it misses, then how long do you keep fishing that? If the fish leaves or if you know it's a good area, how long do you keep fishing it before, you just kind of give up and go to a different spot? It's all part of the game, and I haven't figured out that part yet.
Yeah. One thing I have heard is you never leave fish for fish,
Ah,
which I guess it can be nuanced. Like if they're not gonna eat, they're probably not gonna
yeah.
eat. But yeah, there's been many times, like especially on lakes fishing. So I kind of grew up largemouth bass fishing, like conventionally as well. Um, like we'd always be catching them in this shoreline. Like, oh, what about that shoreline across the lake? Run over there, nothing. It's like, well, why do we leave that spot? Let's go back there, or even spend the whole day jumping around and you never find them like you did right
Right.
away. So yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know how much that actually applies usually, and it's very nuanced.
Yeah.
So
We've done that a couple times hunting, haven't we, Noel?
Yeah, jumping around hasn't seemed to work out for us yet, but
Not at
yeah,
all.
yeah.
But you mentioned e-scouting. Do you do much of that in Wisconsin too? I'm assuming. Maybe not as much since you know the area well, but
yeah, you're right. Because I kind of grew up in the same area where I live now, so I kind of know the spots and whatnot. I'd say mainly for rivers, I do it because lakes are lakes. It's like, yeah, you go out there, you kind of look around, and you can, I guess, yeah, you can look at like depth maps and see, oh, there's a shallow flat over here. But I don't like fishing lakes as much as I do rivers, so. I mean, yeah, rivers like finding access points. Actually, back in how this was a number of years ago, but I found a DNR resource, Wisconsin DNR resource, where they posted all of their trout survey numbers online. And what they did, they gave you a coordinate for the beginning and end of the river section that they shocked. Electrofishing, so like stun the fish, measure them, and release them again. So I actually like spent the whole day where I found a bunch of these surveys for like nearby rivers, I put the 2 points on the map and like wrote a little note of like what they surveyed there. Like I think they go total number of fish and like average length class. So I had like all these pins and spent a couple weekends just jumping around those pins and just checking out the spots. So yeah, there's quite a bit of that I just enjoy doing, like the prep and figuring out where to go, and that kind of rolls into like tying flies too. Like before a fishing trip, like sitting on the vise like the night before and tying up some flies for the next day or whatnot, and filling the box.
Yeah. Do you use Onyx at all? I know they just came out with the fish version too, fishing version.
No, I just kind of use Google Maps, honestly. I just do it
Yeah.
the cheap and easy way. But I mean, for me, it's just kind of I can see the river on the map and I can see the roads intersecting, and I'll drop a pin there if I want
Yeah.
to wade that spot.
Right. And
That's
that's all
kind
you
of mainly
really
what it is.
need.
Yeah, yeah. And honestly, like even just looking at the satellite view of the river when what it looks like I remember when we were scoping out this one float that we do. It's like a 3 mile float. We had our entry point, we had our exit point, but kind of looking at the river throughout, like, can we float through this? Because we don't want to be like a mile and a half stuck with this big heavy raft back in the
Yeah.
woods. I have to walk through a farmer's field to get out. So just kind of making sure the whole float looks clear and you can kind of see like if there's like a riff layer, like a small rapid, you can kind of see it on the satellite, like glinting the sun, sort of. Yeah, just checking for obstructions and things like that, and measuring the length of it to make sure it won't take forever and it's not like a 8 mile flow or something like that. So yeah, that's kind of like the extent of the e-scouting that I'll do.
Yeah.
With tying your own flies, have you ever had like a creation that's been kind of out there? Something wild that you just kind of figured might work, so you did it?
It's a hard
Yeah.
one. I don't think so. I'm pretty reserved in what I tie. I guess my philosophy for tying. So back up a bit. When I got into selling my creations, I made this kind of like inside baseball, but I kind of realized the industry is more selling for the fishermen than it is the fish more so.
Oh
It's like,
yeah,
whoa,
yeah.
like that big, bright, shiny pink lure. It's like, well, yeah, someone's gonna like look at that and grab it, but
Hmm.
do like the fish one? Does it
Right,
look like their
right.
natural prey at
Yeah.
all? Probably not. Um, and it's kind of been hard in that regard when I come up with my leech jig is one. It's very like streamlined, basic, not flashy. Um, just coming up with something different than fishermen are usually looking for is hard to like market and get that market. And sometimes it works. Sometimes like, whoa, I've never seen that before. That could work. Or it's like, I've never seen that before. I don't understand what that could even be,
Ah,
so I'm not gonna buy it.
yeah.
It's been like a weird line to toe in that regard when I'm creating new things. But yeah, I try to keep it more like natural. So I have like some good leech patterns, a good craw
Yeah.
pattern. Ice fishing side, I have a good freshwater shrimp that I tie. That's a really good seller of
Oh
mine.
yeah.
So yeah, I try to be more natural, and I mean honestly, just things that I would fish and I do fish,
Hmm.
and they work good for me. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I know people tie like some crazy stuff like especially with streamers, they can get pretty out there. Have you ever
yeah.
done anything crazy with flies?
One sec.
Uh-huh.
I got this right here. So this was a recent adventure. My cousin's a bad influence on me. So he's like my fly fishing buddy out here, I
Yeah.
guess. Like we just talk about it all the time and we go fishing together all the time. So he's like, "Hey, I'm going to Canada. I'm gonna buy a 10 weight rod," which if you're not into fly fishing, that's a heavy
Huh.
rod. Like for trout, you use a 5
Yeah.
weight or 4
Yeah.
weight. Um so of course I couldn't let him get into thicker rods without me getting one as well. So I'm like, and also we also have cabins up in Northwoods, Wisconsin, so it's like that's muskie country. Muskie are huge
Oh
out
yeah.
here. So yeah, I got a big fly rod and got into muskie fly tying, which is a whole different game.
Right. Yeah.
Whoop a big
That's
one.
been like a
Got
dream
that one.
species of mine. I'd love to catch a muskie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm trying,
Yeah.
so I'll let you know
Yeah,
how it
let
is
me
when I
know
start
what
catching.
bites.
So yeah,
Oh
tying
yeah.
things like this, like There's a 10-incher. Here's like a
Oh
12-incher.
wow.
Just like big things. So
Dang.
these are fun. So like a normal fly, I can whip up in under a couple minutes,
Yeah.
right? These I'll sit down at the vise for at least 45 minutes,
Oh
usually
yeah.
up to an hour. So it's definitely material heavy, time
Mm-hmm.
intensive, but
Very intricate.
they're pretty cool. So,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
materials. Yeah.
I know muskie bite
Yeah.
on some crazy stuff. Have you ever thought about tying up like a duckling or like a mouse or something?
I don't know any fly patterns for
Yeah.
those. Maybe I'll have to look on the internet for those, but I mean, yeah, there's some guys that tie. So all the things I have in that box are 10 or 8 to 12
Yeah.
inches. There's some guys that tie 20-inch flies. It's just like
Yeah.
crazy big. But if you think about it, like muskie are eating fish that big,
Yeah.
they get one big meal
Yeah.
and they digest it for a while. So yeah, that's been the new tine adventure. It's been interesting.
That's an
So
exciting one.
yeah, I've had like small number 12 or number 16 trout flies in the vise and then 6
Yeah.
musky hooks in the vise lately. So it's kind of just kind of expanding what it can
Oh
be.
yeah.
And honestly, it's kind of just like a hobby at this point. So like you can't get out and fish every night.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fun to do something related to fishing when you can't do
Yeah.
that. It's just right here in my house. I can sit down and throw up a video and watch it and tie up a couple flies. So yeah.
That's super cool.
Hmm.
Do you have a favorite fly to tie?
I don't know if I have a favorite fly to tie.
Oh.
They're all kind of the same. I have some that I don't like to
Oh yeah.
tie, I guess. Like if we're just talking about the stuff I sell, like talked about earlier, the freshwater shrimp that I
Mm-hmm.
tie, don't like
Yeah.
tying that one. It's just the way I design it's way too many steps. It takes a long time.
A lot of work.
Yeah, they turn out cool.
Yeah.
So I will say
Yeah.
that they look really good when they're
Mm-hmm.
done. But when you have an order and you have to tie like 10 of those, I just like dread
Yeah.
that. It's like it's not an easy tie.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to get the UV resin out, put the shell back
Yeah.
on, and cure that. It's just a bunch
I
of
was actually
steps,
about to
but
ask
yeah,
about
they
that
do
too. Do you do a lot of ones with UV resin?
mainly just that
Yeah.
one. There's a bit of UV resin on the craw that I do to keep the tails split
Oh yeah.
apart, but mainly just that shrimp that I do because it makes a nice shell back on
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Actually, I recently found a new thing to use for the UV resin. Instead of using like those little flashlights that they come with, you have to like hold it there for
Yeah.
a while. I found my wife's like UV nail curing light. I don't know,
Oh.
Brad, you probably know what those are. But yeah, so I borrowed that thing. Well, pretty much took it at this point, but you can throw them under
Yeah.
there. They bake on their own. You can take them out. Yeah,
Wow.
it works pretty good,
That's
honestly.
pretty cool.
It's a little
It's
life
pretty
hack for
smart.
those fly tires out
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Trade secret.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite weight rod you like to use?
I got a 3 weight, 7.6 3 weight, which is a lot of fun. So in terms of fly rods, that's pretty light, not so crazy light. I think they do make 0 weights, I guess. I've never casted one, but yeah, that's a fun rod. I was up in Northwoods, Wisconsin, a couple weeks ago and caught some bluegills off the dock with it and just bends it in half. So it's a lot of fun.
That's fun.
Yeah, I was not doing well with that 3 weight. It is too light for me. I couldn't
No,
feel anything with that thing.
yeah, yeah. Also, I didn't really give you a casting lesson, which I probably should have started with, but the fish were biting, so we didn't have much time. We just had to go.
Yeah, there wasn't much room to cast either.
No, yeah, there
Did you have
really
like
wasn't
bushes
there, but
behind you?
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
it's sort of open. There's like one specific angle where you can like
Oh yeah.
cast, but it's kind of thick in
I
there,
lose
but
all
it's
kinds of
kind of what
flies
fishing
like
is.
that.
Yeah. Well, if you go there, if Brad takes you
Yeah.
there, there's a bush across the stream that's got like 3 bobbers on it, and they're there
yeah.
for the taking. So probably some good flies on
Oh
there as
yeah.
well. I put 2 flies in the tree.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll be on the lookout.
Yeah.
When it comes to reading water and like casting your fly, what do you normally you see a stream? What do you look for when you're trying to find some fish?
So let's start with bass. So in the stream that we fish for bass,
Oh,
sorry, I'm back. I just got a random call.
oh, I
Um,
see.
so for bass, usually you gotta find the deeper water. So if it's like a foot or less and it's like a riffle, they're not gonna be there. They're because they're big, I guess, aerodynamic fish, so they're not gonna sit in a current if they don't have to, right? They're just gonna be lazy and sit in the bottom. So find deeper water. I guess in our rivers, you try to find some wood or like some sort of structure they can ambush from. That's really helpful. Um, but yeah, when it comes to trout and like more complex streams, you kind of look for the pools below the riffles. So if you think about the riffles as a bunch of bug activity, and the riffles kind of knock the bugs off the rocks, so it's called turbulent water there. The fish are going to sit below that, and the bugs are going to float right to them. They just got to come up and eat them. And obviously, when you come off a riffle, the water drops down. It's a little slower. You got to think that the water at the bottom of the river moves slower than the top. So if you ever see, I guess, where fish sit, they're going to sit tight to the bottom because there's barely any flow down there. Even when the river's kind of ripping, the stuff at the top moves a lot faster. So they're going to be down low, below the riffles, kind of just wait on the conveyor belt to get fish coming down. Um, and then when you kind of get into bends in the river, you kind of look for like undercut banks on the outside of the turn. That's where those kind of sit ambush things. A lot of times you'll get like a current seam where you kind of see a eddy on the side and the current in the middle. Well, they're gonna sit in the eddy, but right next to that seam where things are floating right down. So it's basically like a food conveyor belt. They're just gonna sit by that and grab things as they come through. So yeah, sort of things like that. I know some rivers like will get like foam on the top and kind of like settles in certain areas. They always say fish foam lines because that kind of just shows you where the current seams are.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you just gotta kind of like think that fish are lazy. They're not gonna work any harder than they have to, so they're not gonna be sitting in the crazy water, but just kind of adjacent to it because that's the conveyor belt of food, basically. Yeah.
Sure.
I've also heard that
Um,
it's pretty helpful to when you first pull up to a spot, if you watch it for 5 or 10 minutes, see if anything
Hmm.
does actually eat, and then see what they're eating on, see how they're
Yeah.
doing it.
That's
Yeah.
exactly right. There's a spot that I go to for trout nearby. It's got actually wild trout in it.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
I was there end of last summer, last day of season, and it's just kind of like a super S curve, like snaky river. So I kept going around the bends. I came around a couple bends where you just look up and you can just see them rising right in the same spot. So yeah, I kind of watched him for a couple minutes and like, oh, he's not even moving. It's just like right in that zone, so you kind of know
Yeah.
the lane to cast in to get your fly in front of their face. Because yeah, they're not
Yeah.
gonna move if they don't have to. If they got a spot and the bugs keep coming to them, they're gonna stay there.
Oh, yeah. That's for sure.
and I know you mentioned with the trout, the bigger fish are like closer towards this beginning of the stream, or like the rapids or the current,
Yeah.
kind of the beginning of that food chain you were saying.
Oh, yeah, like in a pool. So they'll say that the
Yeah,
more
yeah,
more
yeah.
aggressive trout will be forward because they want to be first in line to like food line at school or whatever. You always want to
Yeah.
get to the front of the line.
Yeah.
Um, and that actually comes into play during ice fishing as well, where if you're sitting in a hole, you're fishing straight down, right? Um, the little ones, it always seems, they're always going to come to the top of, like, so think of like a big school of fish down there. The little ones are always going to come and grab up the bait right before you could drop it down to the big ones at the bottom. That's usually how it works. That's just because they're the more aggressive ones, and they just want that meal more than the rest of them. So, yeah, so it's either fish higher or fish ahead of them. So, yeah, I guess that's like a difference in lakes and rivers. It's just like lakes are just like a whole different set of rules. As I kind of like rivers because they're more predictable and it's more uh, like interesting to fish. I guess it's not just like throwing a line out there and hoping something stumbles in front of it. I mean, yeah, there's like certain spots you should look for in lakes and things like that, but yeah, it's more like hands-on when you're fishing a river, which is cool. I kind of grew up fishing the Bay, Green Bay a little bit. So that's just like super big water, and just like you drive a mile out, you drop straight down, and you just kind of like wait there until something bites. And I always thought that was kind of boring. I still kind of think that's kind of boring. So yeah, finding river fishing mainly has been pretty fun lately.
I feel like river fishing, you kind of have to just analyze what's in front of you, and then if it's good, you fish it, and if it's not, you move on to the next
Yeah,
spot, and it's
exactly.
more
Yeah,
straightforward.
yeah, it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, you'll tell it's like there's gonna be no fish here because it's like 3 inches deep and the water's moving.
right.
So
Or
obviously
you can
skip that
see,
spot.
you know.
Yeah, yeah. You can see
Yeah,
literally see the fish. Yeah.
yeah.
Are there flies that you would use in the Midwest or in Wisconsin that you wouldn't use out in Montana and vice versa?
Yeah, I guess it depends on target species. But the lines are kind of blurring now. There's a guy named Kelly Gallup who's kind of he's up on the Madison, I know. He kind of pioneered streamer fishing for trout. So like the old days, it's just like you have to match the exact bug. It's gotta look exactly right. It's gotta be super tiny. Well, he kind of like questioned that, especially for brown trout. This is mainly for. He
Hmm.
found out that they're actually meat eaters. Like they'll eat small fish and mice and things like that. Um, so he kind of pioneered this whole streamer thing, like using up to 6 inch streamers for brown trout and catching big ones too. So I would say like streamers, but that's kind of not the case anymore. People use them out there, which is pretty cool. That's kind of what we use out here for smallmouth is some like 3 to 5 inch streamers. Yeah, but even so,
That's pretty cool.
I have a spot here on the Conner River, where trout and stock brown trout and smallies live in the same exact like hole in the river. So I caught smallies and brown trout like back to back casts on the same thing as a past rubber legs. So yeah, it's kind of interchangeable. It's
That
like
sounds like a good time.
it's kind of like there's rules to fishing, but there's also like not rules. Like you can just use what you want. If it works, go for it.
Sure.
Yeah, it's just kind of
What
like that.
kind of?
No, go for it.
Sorry, go ahead. Oh,
I
what
forgot what I
kind
was
of
gonna say.
Sorry. What kind of streamers do you use for smallies? Like trout patterns or
So honestly, if you want to catch smallies, you use a woolly bugger. Which, if you're into the fly game at all, you know what a woolly bugger is. Like,
yeah.
I mean, that goes for anything. Like, it doesn't need to get more complicated than a woolly bugger. Like, they just catch fish. Like, everyone
Hmm.
knows that.
Oh yeah.
But we like to complicate things and throw interesting and cool things, which makes it more fun. So
Right.
last summer, I got into tying these. They're called game changers. So
Ooh.
it's basically a segmented fly. So there's
Yeah.
4 segments to this basically, so it kind of swims like a lure. They were kind of designed after Apollos to give a swimming motion.
Yeah.
These are killer. These really get bit by the smallies.
Does that have one hook or two hooks?
This one just got one hook.
Okay.
So hook on the
Do you
front
tie
and
ones with two hooks?
I can, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Two. I mean, I think I have a pike size one like tied with like 3 hooks on it. So I mean
Oh
you can have
yeah.
as many as you want. So yeah,
Yeah.
these are little cool things. They're kind of just like little bait fish looking things, super natural.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those we fished a ton last year. I think this summer I want to try some more topwater stuff, so tie some poppers and use that. We really didn't do
Ooh.
that much lately.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a fly called the slump buster, which is sort of like use a rabbit hide strip to, I guess, have a tail and then wrap a big bulky head. So it kind of has like a leech profile on the wall. It gets kind of slim. Those are really good. Um, my cousin actually ties one in like hot pink, and I thought it was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. And we fished, and he caught, I think, 5 in front of me. I caught 0. And so I had to like eat my words there, but yeah, yeah. Like I said, Smallies kind of eat anything, but yeah.
Yeah.
So I know you're more so a catch and release type of guy. Do you ever catch and eat?
Yeah, I do. Ice fishing, we do that quite a bit, where we'll kind of go on like a meat run, it's called here in Wisconsin. I don't know if it's
Sure.
it's a nationwide term, but it's like, yeah, you go out to fill the cooler basically and get enough for a fish fry and or put in the freezer and have a fish fry in the summer or whatever. But ice fishing kind of lends itself towards that, where like literally you catch a panfish and throw them on ice immediately, literally outside the door of your hut.
Yeah.
Um, Caught trout recently, so that was good. I didn't feel too bad because it was a stocked trout, and I knew that. But yeah, mainly catch and release. Mainly because I just don't, I guess, want to clean fish every time I go fishing, and you don't really keep smallies either. You kind of get shamed if you keep a smallie. It's kind of like keeping
Yeah.
a trout
Yeah.
out west. Like if you keep a trout
Yeah.
out west, like people are gonna kind of judge you, which is fine if you can keep it, if your regulations allow. But like here, yeah, you can keep smallies during season, but it's a game fish. No one really does. So, yeah,
Right.
it's also like
You
keeping a muskie too. Like if you kept a muskie out here, like people are judging you. You
People
know,
are not going to be happy about
definitely.
that.
nope.
Yeah.
You don't post that on Facebook. I'm just
No.
saying that, dude. The comment section will light up.
Do you have any secret recipes for your trout that you're cooking up?
Just pretty simple. Like I guess I haven't cooked many in my life, but the last one I did, it just gut it, scrape the little scales they have off, put some slices of lemon and butter right in like the rib cage area that you just cleaned out. Obviously take the head off. You just wrap it in tin foil, bake it up, and it's pretty good. Meat just falls right off the bone.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's always good to eat something that you like. It's like living off the land. It just feels primal.
Yeah.
It feels good.
Yeah.
It's no different
Yeah,
than deer hunting, right? Too, you get venison for a while, and yeah, it's all good.
oh yeah. Definitely. Once Noel and I get a little better at this stuff, we're gonna do a catch and cook episode.
Right on, nice.
So
You can do that stream side or back at the house.
Extreme side would be cool if
stream
we
side was the
yeah,
goal.
if
That'd
we
be pretty
brought that
cool. Yeah,
yeah. I
yeah,
have a
Just
little
gotta find the right location with enough service.
oh yeah.
yeah.
I have a little recipe for trout tacos. I'm thinking
Oh, nice.
yeah.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you guys up to? What's going on in the hunting season out there? Bears coming to the end, so elk season's next, right?
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
So Bear just ended on Sunday, and we were unsuccessful this season. You know that,
We
but
got real close.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, we did,
Yeah.
and we actually had a coworker that didn't realize Sunday was closing day, and he had the opportunity, but he's like, "Okay, I know where the Bear is. I'll just come back on Monday
Oh,
afternoon after
Yeah.
yeah.
work and do it then." But it was too late
That
by then,
stinks.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, going on to I'm still training for my elk tag that I got for
Yeah.
archery season.
Basically next season
Elk,
is a scouting season and then
Nice.
preparing for elk season.
Right on.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, we got a trip planned in a couple weeks out to our location. Yeah, hopefully we'll find some elk out there and stay dialed on them throughout the summer.
Right on. Do
Hmm.
they
Yeah.
transition much from summer, I guess, areas to fall areas, or is it kind of the same region you can find them in, or same areas?
It's pretty much the same region up until the rut, and then by the rut time, they're all mixed up.
True. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the nice part about the archery season is that you can kind of keep an eye on them during the off season and then just kind of get right after them
Gotcha.
in the same area. Yeah.
Nice.
I think we're trying to plan a hunt for 2026 somewhere out west, I believe.
Right,
Hopefully an elk hunt.
right on.
Yeah, yeah. You and I, Aaron. That's what I'm talking about.
I don't know who you're talking to there, but yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool to hunt out
But
west because, yeah, like I said, I grew up in Wisconsin, much like you did. It's just different hunting out here. I haven't been exposed to Western hunting yet. I think looks cool. But yeah, around here it's whitetails. You hunt in the like thick woods. You sit in a blind and you look at the same spot all day, and you think you see something when light first comes up, but nope, that was just a stump. And yeah, it's kind of boring, but it is what it is. When the buck walks out, it gets exciting. So yeah, definitely a different
Yeah,
game than out west.
Do you ever use those
definitely. But I'm
antler rattles
excited.
out there?
No, I haven't tried that. No.
Yeah.
I I did get into archery for 2 seasons. I almost got a shot at one deer. But then I just didn't really find the time for it after that and just kind of
Yeah.
gun hunted every year.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, yeah,
I'm excited to introduce you to the out west style.
it'd be good.
It's totally different, but still fun nonetheless.
Yeah. It's more moving around, right? It's not sitting in the same block.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's more active. I find it more entertaining just because I get bored sitting in the stand.
Hmm.
But at the same time, you're putting in a lot more work than you would be.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's kind of like why I like pheasant hunting more, I would think. So I go to South Dakota every year on a big trip and hunt here in Wisconsin, a bit at a game farm. But this just you're moving the whole time and you're like watching the dog work and yeah, you're not just sitting there looking at trees all day. So yeah, pheasant hunting's a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. And then we do duck hunting as well
Mm,
in the fall, like kind of in between all the deer and elk and whatnot. But
nice, yeah.
that's just nice to get off our feet a little bit, sit down.
Yeah.
Reminds me of Wisconsin hunting a little
Yeah,
bit,
there you
just
go.
being patient.
Yeah.
So, little happy medium.
Yeah. Do you ever do any goose hunting yet out there? Or do you not get big
Not
migrations?
specifically.
Do you get decent
Um,
migrations?
yeah, yeah, we get a lot of snow geese
Mm,
too, which is different from Wisconsin. But I want to shoot a goose just to say I have before, but I don't
I
know. It's a lot. It's like a whole
yeah.
another separate, yeah,
It's
another
like
category you got to
it's
dump money into.
it's the guys with the big trailers that just are full of decoys, and then you just think to yourself like, aren't those like $50 a piece? And you're like adding up the math in your head, like that's ridiculous. That's crazy. It's like for a goose too. It's like I heard they don't even taste that great. I've never had one, but
Yeah,
I did go
that's what
one.
I hear too.
I did go one time, and it was pretty cool to see the geese work. Just we didn't get them come all the way in, but they were definitely working us up in there, so that was kind of neat. But yeah,
Yeah, that's my favorite part about duck hunting is watching the birds just fly by, and
yeah,
you have to wait for them to, land after like a third circle or
hmm,
however they're moving. But
yeah,
it's a good time watching the wildlife.
sure.
Um, yeah, sweet. So we can let you get going here, Aaron.
sounds good.
Um, but everybody listening, be sure to check out Aaron's. I'm saying your website right. It's just
It's
Aaron's custom
it's
tying.com.
ACT-fishing.com.
Okay, I've been wrong this whole time
That's
then,
all right.
guys.
Yeah, that's all right.
Well, you heard
All right, but
heard
yeah,
it
check them
here.
out on Instagram and TikTok as well too. And keep your eyes out for a giveaway coming out pretty soon. I believe by this weekend we should have it posted on our Instagram for sure. I'll probably combine Aaron on that too, so be sure to keep your eye out. All right.
Right
Yeah.
on.
Other
Yeah,
than that, it was nice talking with you, Aaron.
yeah, it's been fun. I'll top back
Yeah,
on
thanks for
sometime.
jumping on.
If you guys want to talk about fishing anytime, I'm here for
Yeah.
you guys.
We'll let you know how our catch and cook went.
There we go. Sounds good.
Yeah,
Good luck.
Yeah, we'll
yeah,
have to do a follow-up.
yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah.
All right.
All right. It was nice talking, guys.
Yeah, you too.